How you doing, everybody? Let's see what day it is. Labor Day. Yay, Labor Day! And I have it off. That's cool. Check it out. Whatever. Alright, straight to Syria. That's the big deal, I guess. Okay, lots going on. Boy, this John Kerry is something else. It's driving me crazy. He's so immoral. Oh, chemical weapons are so horrible that we have to attack Syria. What? See, I don't get that logic. Chemical weapons are horrible, and therefore we have to attack whoever we decide did it. I mean, I haven't seen any evidence that Assad did the attack. I didn't see any evidence, and oh, they have secret evidence. We have secret intelligence that we can't tell you about that proves that he did it. Well, I mean, I was just watching Mox News there, and they were interviewing representatives coming out of these, intelligence briefings, and they were saying, depending on who you listen to, some said they didn't prove that Assad did it at all. Weirdly, if you listen to the Jews, the Jewish named ones, I don't know if this makes a difference or not, I'm guessing maybe, they're all ready to go. The Jewish ones are representatives. Whatever, but we have secret information? We can't base war on secret information. I'm sorry. That's insane. I don't know who did this chemical weapons attack. So that's what I don't like about John Kerry's moralizing speech. His logic is terrible. There was a chemical weapons attack, and therefore we need to attack Syria. Okay, but don't bring up the question of who did the attack. I mean, it could have been the rebels. He didn't even say, at first, in his first speeches, he didn't even say that Syria did it. They just said, it's terrible, we need to go in and stop it. Okay, well, it's really important who did the chemical attack. I think that's the most important aspect of this. Who did it? If you're going to go in and attack, or a bomb, or whatever you're going to do, you need to know absolutely who did it, and who you're going to be bombing. From the representatives coming out of that meeting, it didn't seem, some were convinced, but they didn't say it was proof. I went in believing that Assad did it, and it just confirmed my belief. Alright, well, belief isn't proof. Just confirmed your bias, whatever. But anyways, aside from that, here's what I think is going to happen. Okay, Obama went to Congress. Why did he go to Congress? Make it look democratic, whatever. But here's what's going to happen. They're not going to get approval from Congress. Or they are going to get approval from Congress. Either way, I think what they will do is attack after there's another chemical attack. Okay, so whether it gets approval or not, the bombing, he said he'll do it whenever, whenever. So when would be a good time? If you don't get approval, a good time would be after another chemical attack. That would make the most sense. Therefore, you're going to see another chemical attack. Probably, even if he does get approval, he'll wait until there's another chemical attack, and then, it will look legitimate that he does this. So that's where you're going to see another chemical attack. But the trouble is, I don't know who's doing these chemical attacks. I assume it's the rebels, whom we have chemical weapons up the wazoo. How hard would it be for us to give them a couple? Here, use this on your own citizens, so we can get dragged into the war. I don't see why the rebels, let's assume they're real rebels. They're not, but why wouldn't they do that? That seems logical. It's twisted, but logical. You know, that's how these things get done. False flag, which means I'm a rebel. I use the chemical weapons on my own people, and I say Assad did it, and then that brings in everybody else. That's just how this stuff gets done. It's false flag 101. Why is that so hard for representatives to see that possibility? I'm not even saying that's what happened, though. I mean, it seems like the most likely possibility, depending on who Assad works for. I don't know that Assad is, Syria is an independent nation. He could be working for the New World Order, as far as I know, And let's pretend, just a thought experiment, that everybody works, all countries around the world are controlled by the New World Order. I don't believe they are, but whatever. And they just randomly pick a nation here or there to have a civil war in, to stir things up, especially oil prices. That's a big deal. And that's I'm sure that plays a big part in this Syrian war, and certainly not, people's rights or chemical attacks. The U.S. don't care about that shit. We care about oil prices. Yeah, so let's, they certainly want conflict in the Middle East or, in that region, the boogeyman, the specter of conflict in that region, to keep the oil prices up. Because demand is down. I mean, demand isn't, as far as I know. We're all poor over here in the U.S. We can't afford it. I'd just drive as little as possible. Demand can't be super high, so they have to make the prices super high to make their money. So I see that. And you saw all this speechifying by Obama is coming on Labor Day weekend, and naturally our markets here, the stock market isn't open on Labor Day weekend, so stock markets around the world are taking a hit. Oh no, and bonds are, U.S. Treasury bonds are, people are flooding into that a little bit. So it's giving that a boost. So there's all kinds of, other agendas going on besides, we just don't like Assad. They don't care about Assad. They don't care if he uses chemical weapons all day. And I don't know that he is. I doubt he is. And as far as Russia, oh man, this is driving me crazy. I don't know where they stand. I don't understand Putin. Maybe they don't do diplomacy like we do, where we come out and we make bold statements. If you do this, we will attack you. An attack on Syria is an attack on Russia. I haven't heard that. That's what I would expect. You're a big friend of Syria, but I didn't hear that yet. They move troops around and ships around, and they do that anyway. That doesn't necessarily mean to me that he's on the side of Assad and he's going to come to Assad's rescue if we make any kind of attack. So that makes me skeptical about Putin and Russia and maybe China, I guess. I don't know where they stand. Are they really independent nations? And that's what I want to know. I just don't know who's independent anymore. Independent from the New World Order cabal, that is. You know what I mean? There's this cabal that is transnational, and they live all over the world. They don't necessarily have a home that they care about. Like they don't care about the United States, even if they live here. They don't care. If it gets crazy, they'll just move. Whatever. If they live all over the place, they just move around. Whatever. It's transnational. They get their tentacles in, as far as I know, every nation. But do they control Russia? Putin's saying all the right things as far as you know, it doesn't make sense that Assad would do this chemical attack and then invite the inspectors on the same week that he had the inspectors come in. Doesn't make any sense. So he's saying that's the right thing. That makes sense. What? Okay, he's saying that. But he's not coming out and saying, if you bomb Syria, then we're going to do something. He doesn't. You know, but lower level people are saying the Middle East will boil over or whatever. Yeah, maybe it will. But what are you going to do? That's what I want to know. Is anybody going to back Assad? Everybody tells me that Iran's going to back Assad. I'm highly skeptical that Iran is an independent nation, independent from the United States, independent from our intelligence corporate cabal, whatever you want to call it. I wish I would just come up with a term. I'm skeptical that Iran is, and so is James Corbett. We've been dicking around in Iran since, I don't know, was it the 50s? You know, the CIA has been manipulating Iran since the 50s. What makes you think that we're not still in some amount of control there? The Ayatollah, I believe, was educated in England, and that's not that great a case for independence. I mean, England is like the hub of this intelligence cabal, you know, as far as I know. So anybody educated there, I am highly skeptical of as far as their independence from that cabal. So I don't know that anybody's coming to Syria's rescue, and I really don't see a World War III happening. I think this is just going to be an ongoing tension, which is what we need for oil prices and economic instability. That's what this regime wants around the world. They need fluctuations. That's how they fluctuate you out of your money. They just don't want you to hold on to your money. That's all it is ever about. You know. Oh, and I agree. Oh, and if you listen to the Day Trade Show with Don Harold, he has a great point, and I've believed this for a while, is that it all depends on what the bankers do. Bankers don't react to the economy. Bankers drive the economy. They make with the money supply. They create the money supply. You know, it's not, at least here in the United States, it's not the government that does that. It's the banks. Private banks create the money supply. When they increase the money supply, the economy booms. When they decrease the money supply, the economy contracts. It doesn't happen the opposite way, where they make it seem like the Federal Reserve as well. We need to increase the flow of this so that we can, you know, stimulate the economy. It works in the opposite way. They're making it happen, but they're pretending like they're reacting to what's happening. That's what's going on, man. They keep pumping and dumping everybody's economy around the world, and that's how they fluctuate us out of our power, which is our power is any value that is saved. Like you work for a wage. If you could save that wage, you still have some of that. You still have that power. It's like energy. You can get somebody to do something with that power, with that dollar or whatever it is that you saved. If you can save something, then you have power. But if they can stop you from saving something by paying you less, by taxing you, by creating catastrophes that you have to, they sap you into sending money to the Red Cross. Yeah, like the Red Cross isn't a New World Order. All these, cancer research. It's all designed to suck money out of you. They don't want you to save money. They don't want your saving. They want your savings, but they don't want you saving. Because then you'll be challenging their power, right? If we all had the same amount of money, all right, well, who's going to do what? It would be highly democratic then, you know, and based on your skills and all that stuff. You couldn't just say, hey, you mow my lawn, or you scrub my toilets because I'll give you some jingle. I'd be like, you scrub your own toilet. You see how that works? That's what's going on. So it's definitely more than chemical weapons. Definitely more than civil wars. It's not about that. These things are orchestrated, and I don't know if Assad is an independent agent. I'm just going to guess that he is. I mean, there's got to be some independent agents out there. But, you know, Saddam Hussein, he worked for us, and then we turned on him. And I guess we murdered him. I don't know. You know, he had doubles and everything. Lookalikes. So maybe we murdered one of his lookalikes. I don't know. But we have people who work for us, and we turn on them and take them out, and maybe he works for us, and now we've turned on him. I don't know. I just don't see a World War III happening. I don't see it happening. Anything that does happen is going to be staged, right? If Russia's really not an independent nation from this cabal, you know, if they really are controlled, then any skirmish that comes out of this will be orchestrated. Yeah. Even communism wasn't an organic thing. That was orchestrated. From what I've seen, now if you look it up, okay, well, people say research, but I just watch videos. You know. From what I've seen is that Karl Marx, this was all put on. This was all, it was all Engels' idea, and you know, and secret societies were involved, and they orchestrated this whole takeover of the Russian dynasty, and you know, get rid of that because they're not doing what we want, you know. And then from there we can have a whole Cold War. Ooh, great! So now instead of Cold War we have War on Terror. You know. What else? What next? Right? Aliens. I wish we could just skip to the alien part. That at least would be interesting to me. I want to see what their aliens are going to look like. As far as turmoil, creating turmoil being their real agenda, the real tool, the real idea behind all this. I mean, remember North Korea? They bring that up every now and then. North Korea is the boogeyman, and oh, they're going to launch a missile over Japan, and you know, and then you don't hear nothing about it again. And over in South Korea, they were like, what? We don't even care. The people directly affected, supposedly, by this were nonplussed by the whole thing. And here is our media over here going bananas as if we were all going to, you know, it was going to be World War III. And then, you know, hear nothing about it after a while. So that may be what happens here. Probably not, though. I think we will end up doing a bombing. It's really weird that we sit down and discuss, you know, whether we're going to do a bombing. I mean, it's like over tea and crumpets. Who shall we bomb today, mummy? You know, it's fucking weird kind of world we live in. So we'll do a standoff thing, and any attack, they say, will be like on... It won't be on the chemical weapons because it'll spread the chemical weapons. So it's going to be on other stuff like airports and infrastructure and launch mechanisms and stuff like that. All of that stuff is the very same stuff that you would attack if you were going to war. If you were going to put boots on the ground. And to say that they're not going to throw a few bombs in Assad's direction is highly unlikely that they're not going to do that. They've done that before with I think Saddam, and they don't mind going directly at. I mean, they did it with Gaddafi. They did it with Gaddafi. They bombed his house. I mean, there's precedent for that. I mean, they're totally gonna. They're making pretend that they're not gonna. We're just sending a message. No. These are all the same kind of things you would do to either take out the regime itself or soften it up for an actual attack. So, I don't know. I really don't know how it's going to go, but it's going to be stupid. It's, senseless, retarded, stupid shit. We really got to get these idiots out of here. I think if any type of like World War III really happened, I believe that nuclear weapons are off the page, and they're never going to use those. That's my opinion. I don't know that that's a fact, but they're never going to use those. But a World War III, I mean, consider what we have. We have things like carriers, aircraft carriers. Those would be any ship on the water would be taken out immediately by just cruise missiles or whatever. I mean, there's really. These fleets are obsolete. Even as advanced as they are, they're obsolete compared to missile attacks. What are you going to do? I mean, these things will be taken out. So a conventional World War III is not. It would erase everybody's power. We have military budgets, and the last thing we want is for people to realize that all these very expensive ships are very irrelevant, and we shouldn't be making them anymore because they're irrelevant. We don't want to do that. So that's why we don't have these big wars anymore, because they really are irrelevant, and we would take away that big piece of the pie, the big piece of the spending pie. They don't want to do that. So any war will literally be a war to end all wars, if it actually happened. And they don't want to end all wars. Oh no. What we will probably see is, I think the most likely thing would be cyber attack / biological attack here in the U.S. I really don't. I mean, it may be all over the world, and there'll be confusion about who did it and whatever. So any actual conventional war as a retaliation will be limited to conventional weapons, and and a few isolated bad guys. So that it's not a world war. And as far as cyber attacks go, we in the U.S. invented the internet. You're telling me that we're not light years ahead of any Syrian cyber attacker? We're vulnerable? I don't buy that for a second. We're probably the United States government, or whoever is behind this government, the NSA, whatever. It's probably inside my computer right now, and everybody's around the world. There's no cyber attack that we don't know about, I guarantee you. We know who's doing what at all times, I'm pretty sure. So if any cyber attack happens, it's either us or it's Israel who is us, it's all the same. Or Turkey, who is us. Turkey works for us. We're all the same intelligence hub. I just won't buy it. It will be, anything will be false. It will be orchestrated. So it's sad to say. Welcome to the fake world. Can't we just all fake get along? Okay, good day. Aside from that, I'm working on a little gasifier stove. You know, tin can gasifier stove. Those are neat. So I'm working on that, and maybe a gravity-fed shower system in case the power goes out, that type of thing. That's fun. Fun stuff to work on.